It's
There's Craig.
Craig.
Craig in here to listen to us once again.
It is
Uh,
Craig.
all right. Well, here we are again. Another Rules, Jewels, and D&D Schools. This time about custom, air quote, custom spells. Um, I've got a few prepared. Isaac's got a few prepared. Joe's got a few prepared. We're ready to talk about and hash out like whether these things work or not. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of listen to this awesome spell, and then you tell it, and we all go, "That sounds broken as fuck." But that's
One of
because
them, yes. One of
spells are
mine's
created.
definitely that way.
Oh, really?
Yes.
These spells are. I was thinking about it when I was writing these. I was like, some of them are just like variations of an already existing spell, but I wrote some of them and I was like, this seems really powerful, and I'm writing this in a vacuum. So like, I suspect that I will tell a spell and someone will be like, that's broken for this reason. But I only brought. You might be surprised to hear that I only brought one damaging spell out of my four.
I think only one of mine is damaging. Yeah.
And I based its damage average based on a fireball of the same level. I made a chart of how much damage fireball does on average. That way, if I made a spell for higher than third level for damage, that it on average did more than a fireball. Because
Okay.
we are severely lacking in like cool higher level high damage spells.
Yeah,
But
I agree
not
with that.
I didn't overshoot it. I just made it better enough that like the highest high is a lot higher. The roll you're never going to get, which is all perfect rolls, is like probably way higher, but the average is
Yeah.
only like 4 or 5 points higher than a fireball. Higher
Okay.
potential damage,
How did
lower
you
in the hits.
go? How would you go about introducing these into a campaign? Would you just be like, here's some extra spells you can choose from, or would you allow, like,
I
particularly a wizard to be like, hey, I've got an idea for a custom spell and I want my character to just be working on it.
I think that that's a good way to do it. If it's the very beginning of a campaign and I already have a list of spells that I like that I want to add, I might be like, here's some extra spells, everyone. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I think like in our two campaigns now, I would approach it the way you just said. Either the person goes, I want to create this custom spell, blah, blah, blah. They explain it, they write it, they give it to you, you review it, you give it back. And you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Hmm.
Like a collaborative spell creation. Or, woo, um, I think that the other way is like you kill a boss or you kill something, right? And it's like you find on him this spell scroll for a spell you've never heard of before, you know?
Yeah. What if it's for a non-wizard class though?
Oh, you're
How
right.
would you integrate it that way?
You're right. You're right. So like, hmm, hmm, okay. So I guess it would be a lot harder with a sorcerer because they're and a cleric, right? Well, a cleric wouldn't be that hard. A cleric could be like, your god grants you
Yeah.
this new spell. Uh Or they could be like, I'm praying to God every day for this new spell that I'm thinking
And
of in my
you
head.
could do something similar for a warlock as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Like your
their
patron grants you a
patron
new spell.
grant
The
you this
way
spell.
the way I thought about doing it for a sorcerer is some big fight or event where, oh, you feel surged with magic, and now you
Yeah,
feel
like
you can do this thing.
I was
Uh,
thinking in my head in the moment, I was thinking you kill a boss and whatever this boss is, you like gain some of its essence and it amplifies your magic and grants you new spell X.
yeah,
Yeah.
I could say you could do it that way, or you could do it like in my campaign. You could have it just be like they're at the Aegis, they've been working on some new ways to for sorcerers to cast magic, and you can go there, and whenever you level up you can learn this spell. It's
I would say a lot of what I ran into creating these spells, and this is why I had planned on making like I probably had 10 ideas for spells, but every time I sat down and I was like, all right, I'm going to turn this idea into a spell. Here we go, and I start writing it on to be like, no, that doesn't really work. Is that damage right? And then I was like, this just sounds like a subclass.
yeah,
I had that
that's the
happen a
thing that
lot.
that's the thing that I found out while I was trying to make spells. I'm like, this would just be like a subclass ability.
Yeah,
uh
this would be a cool central mechanic to build a subclass around.
which
Want to do a
kind of
subclass episode?
counterintuitively made me think maybe we don't need more spells.
I do think we need more spells. I do really think that more spells, more variation, even more just damaging spells that are, for all intents and purposes, just flavor differences would just be nice
Yeah, that would
because
be very cool. A lot of those things you can do just yourself, though. You can be like, "Oh, my fireball is purple,"
I think there are
or
plenty
something
of
like that.
groups. I think there are plenty of groups where players want to do that, but the DM doesn't want them to do that. So having more official like venues to
Sure.
seek that out is not worse, right? It may be like a net neutral, right? Like, oh, here's a level 4 or 5 spell that is flavored fireball, looks
Yeah.
different, it described different. Therefore, I can choose that and the DM will be like, "All right, that's in the book." That's in an
Yeah, yeah,
official
yeah.
book. You can have that.
Sure.
Whereas like our campaigns, yeah, you're right. It doesn't really matter because we're pretty open about like allowing these kinds of things to happen, and it's really easy to be like, "Hey DM, I want to do this." And they go, "Let me look into that." And the next week they say yay or nay or you adjust accordingly. But yeah, plenty of subclass stuff. Want to do a subclass episode? I think Joe was talking about this too, which is like
I already had, yeah, one of my things today. It could go either way.
Like
I
making
had
a subclass.
making some subclasses. I had one idea for a spell. I'll pitch this one real quick. I
Okay.
had a spell that I was going to call like summon or call elemental blade, which was like you chose a elemental type and you pulled like an elemental sword and it had like a flavor for each one. And the more I thought about how it worked mechanically, I thought this sounds like a level 3 subclass where you go, I want the lightning sword, and you get the description for the lightning sword, and you're like a lightning sword kind of micro caster, somewhere in between, like a fighter subclass maybe, or a
Or
warlock
like a
subclass,
or
or
like a
yeah,
blade singer type
like a
thing.
blade singer type thing, right? But
Yeah.
they summon an elemental sword and use it. But it didn't really work out as cool as it sounded in my head. That's a subclass. That's not a spell that like a wizard casts.
Sounds very similar to Hexblade.
Yeah. It's just a flavor variant. And I
Yeah.
don't think I think that like more flavor variants, like I've been saying, is very good. And we need more of it because ugh.
Yeah, I mean, they could put just like a couple spells per book that they put out, especially in the adventure books, right?
Yeah,
They could put just
adventure
like
books should have a few spells.
a spell that's like, oh, in this world, this fireball can look like this, or whatever.
Yep.
That would be.
Exactly. It doesn't even have to
Seems
be
like
a
it would be an
dedicated
easy
book.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, who wants to go first on their spells?
I'll go first.
Uh, Go for it.
All right, Joe first.
Mine is my first one. We've talked about it before. Like cantrip healing,
Okay,
and I
yeah.
was think to help limit that, you could do clerics. This is a cleric only ability. You get it at level 1. It's just part of being a cleric.
This is a subclass.
No, it's just part
Yeah,
of
I know.
being a
Yeah, yeah.
cleric. All
Okay,
all
okay.
Regular
subclass
class.
clerics get it. It doesn't matter. But you get a pool of your proficiency plus your level, and you can use one per turn, and you can use D4 with no additives, just a D4. 30 feet range of healing.
Just like a little tiny heal,
You can use it.
little
Use your
baby
action.
heal. Good
That
berry to cantrip
sounds
because that would work. That's a
that
like
sounds
similar thing.
very similar to lay on hands.
Is lay on hands a
It's not a
daily
spell.
use thing?
It's
You
just
can
you
only use
get
it like once.
no, you get five. You get 5 per paladin level, and you can use 1 point to heal 1 hit point, or use 5 to get rid of a disease or something. But
Well, you
Oh,
also
so
have
it's
to
like
like touch them.
yeah, that's true.
But,
so this could be like the cleric version of that, like a
yeah,
ranged micro heal for a cleric.
yeah.
I don't see
I
any
see that.
problem with that. Yeah, like
And you'll be limited by a smaller pool, so you can't just be
yeah.
spamming
So
it.
yeah,
But
when you
you
first
have
pitched this to
it's
me,
for emergencies. Like if someone
yeah,
goes down, you pop them back up real quick
yeah, when you
from a
pitched this to me
distance.
the first time, I was like, a cantrip healing spell sounds awesome, but if you could just stand there and go heal, 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 heal every turn without any
It's like this
repercussions,
became World of Warcraft.
that's another thing. I would think about like this is a powerful spell. There has to be a limit on this. Maybe use this per day, and then I'm like, that's just a subclass. But yeah, I like
Well, I
that.
mean, you
Class
already
could work.
have uses per day already built in. If it's a strong spell, it's going to be like 7 or 8 or 6 or 7. So you
Are there
only
spells
have
that? Yeah, well, yeah, there is. That's built in. But like lower level spells, you get quite a few, so you have to be
Cantrips, you
careful.
get infinite.
And cantrips, you get infinite. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can just at will those things. At will is on the website still. I don't even think is that a rule still? Anyways, you want to go next, Isaac?
Sure.
Spell me.
Let's go with the first one I've got here on the list.
All right.
Okay, this first one is a wizard 3rd level spell called Track Item. It's a 1-minute cast time, and you target an object that you must touch for the full duration of the cast.
Uh-huh.
And for the next hour, you know the direction of the object from you. And then if you upcast it to 5th level, it lasts 24 hours. Upcast it to 7th level, it lasts a week. Upcast to 9th level, it lasts a month.
Is this
So the
kind of
idea
like
here is that you could take, like you could have a tracker on
yeah.
someone,
Mm-hmm.
and it wouldn't tell you exactly where they are. It would just be like a compass. You'd be like, they're in that direction.
It's a magical air tag, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that. I thought there was a spell similar to that. Like divination.
Not that I'm aware. I mean, you can locate object,
Okay, locate objects, what I was thinking.
but yeah, it's like it doesn't last as long.
Yeah, you're
And
right. It's a time
It's a
thing.
concentration thing. This would be a thing where like you get like a necklace casted on it. You like give it to someone. Hey, here's a gift I want to give to you. And then they are like, oh, cool. And they wear it. And then you can track that person for however long you upcast it.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good. That'd be cool. I would even add like you could stealth like enchant someone's item. Is it what did you just say what classes can cast this?
It was a wizard spell, but I mean, those everything's open for balance checks. But
I think if a sorcerer had this and you could like quick cast it or whatever with oh wait, you said it's a minute cast time though, right?
yeah,
Okay. Can it be
that's
cast
to
as a
keep it.
ritual?
No.
No,
Although
okay.
we could make it that. I mean, that would not be a stretch.
It's like what level spell did you say it was?
3rd level.
3rd level. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want like level 1 characters like, especially
Hey, check
level
this
1
out.
characters, one action. Oh, I touched your thing and now I can follow you.
Yeah, that's a little OP for sure. For
Now I
sure.
know where you are. You can't stealth from me now.
I actually don't mind that one. I don't feel like there's anything to change on that one. That one feels
I
good.
liked it.
Yeah, that feels good. That doesn't feel OP or anything.
Yeah, I
Man,
feel
we're
like
2 for 2. The
it's
pressure's
a
on.
it's not overpowered because it doesn't do damage. Like that's the quickest way to overpower something is to try to add a damage thing.
Make
to
it do a little bit of damage. It curses them. It does
But
a
it's
half a point of damage every round until they take it off.
yeah, and because it's like a minute that you have to touch something, it's not particularly overpowered in an RP way, but it is an RP spell essentially.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
All right, what you got?
Oh god. All right. I am going to do here we go. 3rd level spell. Spell redirect. It's like a counter spell. You attempt to redirect a spell. If the creature is casting a spell of 3rd level or lower, you choose the target. If it is cast a 4th level, it works exactly like counterspell, basically. But instead of canceling out the spell, it allows you to choose a new target for it.
Ooh, at 3rd level?
At 3rd level, so it works like counterspell. So as it goes up, you have a DC, and you have to cast the spell at higher and higher slots.
Oh,
Right?
I feel
so
like that
only
should be a higher level start. So like you would get counterspell at level 3, and
Because
then
counterspell's level 3.
and then like you'll have like the upgraded version whenever you can cast
Yeah,
level 7
that's totally
spells.
fair. I don't think it should be that high. Maybe somewhere in between, like a 5th level.
Dude, that seems like a real strong one.
it's the reason it seems strong to me is because it's very similar to a like 17th level rogue subclass ability.
Is there a really high level I didn't even know that. I don't play
So
rogues.
it's not exactly the same, but it's similar. So Spell Thief, at 17th level for Arcane Trickster, you get
Mhm.
immediately after a creature casts a spell that targets you or includes you in its area of effect, you can use a reaction to force the creature to make a saving throw with its spellcasting ability modifier. The DC was whatever. On a failed save, you negate the spell's effect against you, and you steal the knowledge of the spell if it is at least 1st level and of a level that you can cast. For the next 8 hours, you know the spell and can use it casting your cast it
That's
using your spell slots, and the creature can't cast it until 8 hours have passed. So not exactly the same, but similar.
I didn't think about it as being too OP because like a counterspell just completely stops it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the spell, I mean, you don't know what they're casting, so
Well, there's an argument to be made that you could know what they're casting, especially like wizards and stuff. If it's a spell that they cast themselves, you could
Yeah,
argue
true.
that the somatic components look familiar.
Look familiar, but from a distance, it has the same range as counterspell, which is 60 feet. So if someone's 60 feet away from you, I doubt you'd be able to like spot them out. You know, if someone was doing sign language to me from 60 feet away, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Of course, I
You
wouldn't be able
might.
to tell you if they were a foot
I
away
was
from
gonna
me because I
say
don't know sign
you
language.
might. You don't have
But
sign language.
if I didn't know sign language and they were like doing the hand signals, I'd be like, I can't see it from that far because um I don't know. It seems I get what you're saying. Maybe like a
I
fifth level spell.
I do like the idea. I do think it needs some. I think it needs some
We can
balance to it
adjust it.
because it does seem strong.
Yeah. What do you think we should balance then, my guy? I feel like this is
Uh,
going to be all of my spells because my spells don't think when I think about something like a spell or a subclass, it's just how cool does it look in my head? Then I write it down. This is why I need the checks and balances.
um. Yeah, I think that needs to be at least a fifth level spell.
I don't think it should be as high as seventh, but fifth, I'll meet you in
And
the middle.
and I'm trying to decide like does it reflect like AoEs or just targeted?
Well, like I said, since you don't know what it is, what do you mean, like fog cloud or like fireball?
Yeah, like could you I know you wouldn't probably use it on Firebolt, but you may. But could it obviously would be able to reflect Firebolt because it's coming right at you and you can like
It's more like
dramatically push it away,
it's
but Fireball.
sorry. I think there might be a disconnect in like how I imagine this working, which is like
Okay.
guy is casting the spell. It has not gone off yet.
Okay.
You cast it in reaction to that. You have no idea. There's no way for you to know what spell it is, and you can just pick a location for it to go.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that
like
is a disconnect because every time I've run a campaign, it's been like you know what he's casting.
the way I pictured it in my head is you do not know the spell. They could
Okay.
be casting a heal. And if you redirect it to one of their allies, it's just a different guy that gets healed instead of their friend.
Hmm. If you have no idea what the spell is, then that spell becomes far less powerful.
Yeah, it's chaos. It's like a chaos spell. You're like, oh crap, they're casting something. I want it to go there. And if it's a fireball, you're like, yes, I got him. But if it's like nothing, you're like, well, I wasted a spell. I wasted a third level spell slot on that.
Yeah, if you don't know what the spell is, I think third level is fine,
Yeah.
and you just take a chance on it.
Yeah. I think
But
I pictured it as
I
a
don't know.
roll the dice like utility spell.
Okay, yeah, if you have no idea, like if the campaign's like, yeah, you don't know, then I think third level's fine. But in any campaign I would run, I think I would have to have it at least fifth level because you would know.
That's fine. I mean, it could adjust. It's a homebrew spell anyway. So,
Yeah,
all
interesting,
right.
interesting.
Yes. All right, Joe, what's you? What do you got? You're next.
My
We're going
next
all the
one.
way around.
I'm thinking probably around like a fifth level spell for this one.
Okay.
It's called Conscious Swap. It's
Okay.
a 10-minute cast time with the and it can be cast ritually. But basically what you would do is you cast it on a target. They
Yep.
can make a wisdom save. Um, and then if they fail the wisdom save, you swap your consciousness swap places. So you take control of their body, they take control of your body.
Can they
So
willingly?
Freaky Friday.
Freaky
Yeah,
Friday.
Freaky
Can they
Friday.
willingly do it?
Well, that's yeah, you can willingly do
Willingly
it
fail.
as a
Willingly
friend.
fail. Yeah.
You gain their memories for the last 30 days, so you kind of know what's been going on in their
Okay.
lives. Uh, and it would pass for like if someone had true seeing, you would still it's still that person, the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So you
wouldn't
could
be able to
kidnap
tell
someone and swap.
and swap with them. Yeah, I'm thinking this would be definitely be like if you have to sneak into a fortress or
How do
something.
your abilities transfer? I feel like if you're a martial class and you're swapping two martial classes, can you swap two other people besides yourself?
Mm, yeah,
Okay. So like
It's like,
yeah.
no, well, yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that sounds all right. Like you bring
You
two
can do
people
that.
in like the brain swapper in
But
Futurama.
you gain the abilities of that body. You don't. It's not like if you're a hulking big Goliath.
I
If you're
feel like
Vonic and I swapped you with like a scrawny weakling, you might know how to fight. But if you have no
yeah.
brain,
So you get their ability scores, but you
yes,
don't get their like class things.
correct.
Okay,
Okay.
Whatever they
that
are,
could be
whatever they
real
are.
funny.
That could be real funny, yeah, for sure.
You're like swapping to Vonic's body, but you have like no proficiency with anything that like fighting wise. And you're just like walking around.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
I'm big.
you want to fight?
Look at
I
me.
don't want to fight at all.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
If you were thinking about fighting me because I'm large, you best not think about it because I don't even want to fight you.
I guess theoretically you could still cast spells through Vonic. That'd be interesting.
How would that work? Because like a sorcerer and a warlock, it's tied to your body. I guess I've never thought of it. Is that tied to your body or your consciousness?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't actually know. Like, would your sorcerer
I
or
would
warlock
say
spells
you can't
transfer?
cast spells when you're in it.
Really?
Yeah.
But what about like a wizard who can like read the spells? Man, okay. That's really interesting. That's a really super interesting spell. It's just like mechanically, I think we'd
It
have
would
to
be
dig
like
into
very
that.
situational and like it would take a lot of planning to be able to use the spell. But I think it would be a very useful spell in the right situation.
In the right situation, yeah.
The
And it would
one
last the transformation would last 8 hours.
the one nerf I would give it is that you would not get the memories. I would leave that to your party to like follow this person around to see what their normal routines were.
Yeah, I can see
Because
that.
given the memories, that could completely foil a plot line.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you now know that this was the BBEG.
It wouldn't even
And
be, it wouldn't even be it wouldn't even be about like swapping them for stealth. It would be like, we're gonna knock this guy out, we're gonna swap with him, then we're gonna know all of his secrets,
yeah.
then we're gonna go back. Then we're gonna kill him, then we're gonna kill his
Yeah,
boss.
so that's the only change I would make to it.
Yeah, I
Because
think
while
so.
that does sound cool, it also it's just like it's too much for trying to follow plot lines unless they're only doing it to like non-important
But
characters, which why would you do that?
could definitely add to a plot line though. If you
It
have to
could.
spend days like tracking a guy and being like, all right, what's this guy's habits? How does he act? You
Yeah.
know, like
And then the big
bumping
thing
into
is
him.
like you have to kidnap him.
Yeah.
Have your party watch your two bodies because he'll
Yep.
be in control of your body.
Yep.
And then you gotta make sure that nobody notices that he's gone for the amount of time that you kidnap him, if he's important.
You just gotta re-assimilate into his life very quickly and have good charisma. Actually, wait, you swap with his charisma, right? So you gotta hope he has good charisma.
No, you would keep your charisma, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, you keep your stats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep your
Wait,
stats.
is that what it is?
No. You
No.
would have
No,
to
it's
keep your mental stats, but gain the physical
Yeah,
stats.
yeah.
Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
because
that's what it'd have to be because you'd still
if
have your consciousness.
if you swapped over into like Vonic, my character on Monday's thing, and you lost all your and your strength was a score was a 10,
Like,
all my
I
muscles just
am
shrink.
really weak.
I'm barely strong enough to hold my own body up.
Like you swap Vonic's arms turn into noodles. I can't lift my
move those at
arms.
all.
And then
How
what?
do you move these?
I pop into a little caster's arms, and their body gets like just jacked. I'm ready to go. All right,
I
that's
really
interesting.
like where that could go. That
I
could
really
be
like
very
where it could go.
interesting.
Yeah, that could be very. That sounds like a campaign specific spell, but it is very cool. All right,
I like it.
Isaac, you next. Hit me up.
What do I got? What do I got? Critical accuracy, third level spell,
Okay.
concentration. It's one action, 1 minute duration. You target a creature, and for the duration, that creature crits on a 19 or 20.
Oh, it's just so it's like a temporary improved
It's
critical
just a little
hit.
buff spell.
Okay, what level was that again?
Third level.
I honestly think that could be lower. I think that could
I
be a
thought
second
about it,
level
but
spell.
like the fighters, the people like the people who get that as part of their subclass
hmm
get it until you would get like third level spells. So I don't want to be like, I don't need to go to that subclass because I can just give it to myself before they would get it.
Where's the what level is haste?
Haste is 5th level.
Okay, okay. So it'd be fine. I was about to say, if you've got to compete with haste, if haste is in that same, then no one would take that because haste is really, really, really good.
Oh, haste is 3rd level.
That's why I was saying. I was like, I think it could be a lower level spell because it's only a temporary effect, anyways.
Yeah, but you could also potentially have both on you. If
Yeah,
you
you
had
could.
2 casters.
Yeah, or one. Oh wait, they're both concentration. So
Yep.
yeah, I don't really. Other than it being lower, it could be a lower level than haste. It could be 2nd level, I think.
Let me double check on the when champions get that, because I don't want it to be. I don't want you to get it before a champion gets it, because
Well, you
that's
can
like
get
the
it as
whole.
a feat, can't you? At level 1 as a human.
No, there's no feat that does that.
Is there no improved critical feat in 5e? Okay, whatever. I don't know anything.
I was looking hard for it for a character build I was doing. I was like, "There's
Oh
no
yeah,
way I can get there."
it definitely
Uh,
was there in 3.5
okay,
and
it could
4th, I think.
be 3rd level then, or it could be a 2nd level spell because
Yeah.
champions get it at 3rd level.
Do they give
So
you
yeah,
a
it
level
could, it
where
could be
it's
a
like,
2nd level
yeah,
spell.
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
I think that's the only change I care about is like a little bit lower because if I was picking utility spells and I'd be like, all right, I got one utility spell slot. Here's what I want to use it on. Give someone where they can crit on a 19, or give someone 60 feet of movement and 2 actions.
fair, fair. So yeah,
Yeah,
what's 2nd level? We'll knock it down to 2nd level. Sounds good.
sounds good. All right, my 2nd spell. Man, okay. I have a reaction spell again. This is like shield. I feel like reactions
You
are
only play blue decks, don't you?
huh?
You only play blue decks, don't you?
I did. I gotta tell you, I played a lot of blue. I mained a blue deck all through Magic the Gathering, dude.
Nobody likes you.
Because I was like, "What are you doing? No, don't you
You're
try to
not
do that?
doing that,
Definitely not."
actually.
Yeah, I know. That's what I did. Yes, that was me. I was playing blue in Magic the Gathering because it's the best. And also, reaction is very underused in D&D. Like other than attacks of opportunity, there's what shield, and there's a few other like reactionary spells.
Silvery
Silvery
barbs.
barbs. Yeah. Anyways, this is kind of like shield. I have it as a 3rd level, but I am more than willing to. Yeah, it shouldn't be 3rd level. It should probably be like 5th level, I would
Okay, let's
say.
hear it.
It is a reaction. You can cast it on self or 60-foot range. It creates a 10-foot dome of magical force, and it protects people in a obviously a 10-foot area, and it reduces the damage of an AoE spell or a targeted spell by. I had it as 5d10, but it could be anything. 5d10 comes out less than a 3rd level fireball for average. So
How long does it last?
it's instantaneous. It only lasts for that second. Like it blocks it once and it goes away.
Oh, okay. So that's not too bad then. I think
So
that
like
can be balanced around
you
thing.
see someone shooting a fireball at your party, you put the dome up, you roll, it reduces the damage flat for that amount, and then whatever damage over that goes through and hits them anyways.
So it's like anti-magic shell.
It's kind of like that, like a reaction damage reduction. It's almost like Stone's Endurance, but for a party.
That's kind of cool. Um,
Because there is nothing you can do to stop like dragons swooping down, and you're like, oh crap, boom, put up the dome, and it reduces a little bit of that breath damage that's going to come through.
would it only reduce magic damage? Because I don't think dragon breaths are considered
Are they not?
magic damage. I don't think so.
I would have thought that they were like acid, fire, lightning. Let's just say, for the
Say
sake
it
of
just
it, since
reduces damage.
I didn't
Like,
specify, it just reduces damage by
yeah,
this amount. It could be an explosive. It could be
that could be
anything.
really cool for like going through rooms that are potentially trapped as well.
Yeah, you could put a dome in the room.
Well, you could just be going through, and as soon as you're forced to make the dex save or whatever, like I also
Yeah,
am
put this dome
using.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
to
I
block a
like
little bit
that.
of it. Yeah,
I like
I
it.
think
It has. I do think it would have to be 5th level or
yeah.
higher. I think 5th
I
level is
had it
about the
as 3rd
lowest you
level
want to
because
go.
I based it on shield. I use shield as the basis for it.
Hmm.
And shield's a 3rd level spell. But yeah, it definitely could be a 4th or 5th level spell since it protects more than just yourself.
I mean, yeah, that potentially can. I mean, depending on the rolls, could completely negate a fireball.
A level 3 fireball.
Yeah.
Its
Well, I
average
mean, if
comes
you
in.
rolled poorly,
Oh
you
yeah, if you
can.
rolled really well. The average comes in like I think an average for I don't have my chart with me. It's on my iPad. The average for a fireball at level 3 I think it's 28 and the average of 5d10
Be
is like 25.
it's 8d6, right?
8d6. So it'd be uh I
Divided by
forgot.
2, so it's 25. 25
25.
is
Okay.
average.
Okay. I had RPG bots damage per round calculator open when I was making these.
Well, it'd be a little more, it'd be a little more than 25. It'd be
I think
20,
it's 28 and a half.
28 and a half, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then 5d10's average is 25, I believe. So it's a large enough reduction in damage to save your party quite a bit, but it's not something that you could cast a ton because nobody gets a lot of 5th level slots. And then I had it, like anything else, if you upcast it, add an extra dice.
It's also kind of balanced around the fact that you could just counterspell instead for a lot of the things. So it's
Yeah.
mostly going to be useful against things like breath attacks or traps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it.
And I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I like more reaction spells sounds good to me because there's not a lot of them.
Yeah, I like reaction spells as well, just because like casters tend to not take opportunity attacks.
Yeah. Yeah. How
Unless they're a
often is a
warcaster.
yeah? How
And
often are they
even
going to
then,
be
it's
in
like,
there?
why did you let them get that close to you?
Yeah. Why didn't you just back up? All right. That's enough for me. Back
Okay.
to you, Joe. What do you got?
Last one that I came up with is called Elemental Knight.
That sounds like a subclass.
I think I can get it into a spell, level 3 spell. It'll be for wizards and sorcerers. When you cast it, you are locked out from casting other spells while the cast is being concentrated on.
Better be super
Dang.
strong, man.
Better be good.
You get to choose the element, so fire, lightning,
Yeah.
ice, whatever. You get to choose when you cast what forms. You armor will start to appear on your body in whatever form you want. You can choose the weapon that appears, and you can also choose to have a one-handed and a shield that appears. Base is you get a +5 to your AC. You get whatever weapon you pick. So if you pick a longsword, you get a D8 or a D10 because it takes the properties. You can have a shield, which will add the +1 to AC, so then there'll be a total of +6.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're in the state, it lasts for a minute. Every time you hit somebody, it does magic elemental damage of whatever. So
Of
if
the
it's a
type,
D,
yeah.
if you're using a sword and a shield, you'll do a D8 of ice
Fire,
damage.
ice, or whatever. Yeah.
It's a level 3 spell. If you
Mm-hmm.
pump in another level 3 spell, you can add an extra an extra dice to the roll. So if it's a D8, you get 2d8. And each level higher than that, you add an extra one, and you can pump in spells on single targets to do extra damage.
I think that
That
this
is
is a
busted.
really. You think it's busted? Really?
That is completely busted.
It's a
If I had
concentration
that
spell, though.
yeah, but if I had that spell, I am building a Blade Singer wizard with multi-class into fighter, and I am killing everyone always.
That's true. That's why I thought a subclass, because as a spell, I was actually leaning the other way, that it was actually kind of weak. Because if you're a normal wizard and you chose this, it's a concentration spell. So when you get hit, you're going to have to roll for concentration.
Right.
And pumping a 3rd level spell slot to get 1 extra D8 is not as good as, wait for it, throw in a fireball. You know what I
Unless you
mean?
multi-class into fighter, and you can take
Yeah,
multiple
sure.
attacks per round, action surge.
But that's a long way, right? For those multi-class to work, I always look into these multi-class and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Wow, if I multi-class and did this, it'd be awesome. Then I could do this and this. And then it's like, but if we're starting at level 1, I'm going to have a fucking miserable life until I'm level 6 or whatever, right? I'm just going to be worthless until then. This spell,
You could start off fighter, get your action surge, and then go into wizard until you get like 3rd level spells, and then go back into fighter till you get multi-attack.
but you don't get 3rd level spells to like level 5.
Yeah, but I'm like, if you already have action
And
surge,
and you don't get multiple attacks as a fighter to level 5.
yeah, but that's like level 10. But as you're getting to level 10,
Yeah.
if you are a level 2 fighter, level even 1 wizard, like you have action surge, so you can cast a spell, action surge, beat somebody up. That's going to be fine for a while. I
I
don't know.
suppose.
That spell is busted on a level 10 character. Like
On a level,
completely
yeah,
busted.
that high, busted. Up to level 10, I wouldn't take it. I would say, like we've been talking about, that's a 6 subclass. That's a subclass you build. That's a wizard subclass, or that's a fighter subclass, or that's a barbarian subclass. That's some
Warlock.
kind of warlock subclass. That'd be awesome. Hexblade, kind of like elemental hexblade. That'd be sick. That's a subclass. That's a cool spell that is a subclass. Do you agree?
That's
I
it.
do agree.
Yeah.
That's a busted spell. As soon
No,
as, soon as you were saying it, I was like, "This is broken."
In a subclass, it would be you could add a little bit and it would round
in
it
a
out.
subclass, you tone it down and you give those features to them as they level up.
Yeah.
And it balances out. You pick an element. It's almost like the Call Lightning Sword I talked about at the beginning, or Call Elemental Blade. It's like that, but even better. It's a better version of what I pitched. So that's an awesome subclass. I'm really interested in like,
custom subclass, please?
can I have a custom subclass? Well, you know what? We're going to do a subclass episode now because half of our spells are subclasses. Well, except for Isaac. He seemed to he got it. He got the memo. Me and you didn't get the memo.
I
I
understood
came
the
up with like
assignment.
4 spells, and every time I was like, that's a subclass. So I think you should fill that one out into an entire subclass.
Okay.
I think that's a subclass because that's a worthless spell up until level 10. All right,
I don't
Isaac.
think it is. I think it's still fine. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, so this one's called Clumsy. It's a second level spell, although I think it could probably be a first level spell even.
Okay.
You just cast it at a creature. The target has to make a strength save, and if they fail, their feet are immobilized for an instant, causing them to fall prone. So just a spell to knock people prone is all it is.
Oh, okay. Like a little. You said second level.
Yeah, second, which it could be a first level.
I'm gonna pitch this to
is.
you. First level reaction.
Stop making things reaction.
First level reaction, make them trip over their own feet. You see someone running, reaction, make them trip.
I think that's a little too powerful.
No. Because
As
you
at a
could wait.
first level spell that
It
can
can be
just
second
knock
level. It
people
can be
over.
second. No, but it doesn't do anything else.
Yeah,
So-
but like if you're using that on the boss or whatever, they never get to move, right? Because they take 5 steps or 5 feet of steps and they fall over, have to use half their movement to get back up, and then that's it. So
Well,
like
see,
they get
first of all, you've used it wrong anyways. You wait until they use half their movement, then you knock them over. What are you, an idiot? And you count it out. They go 5, 10, 15. I knock them prone. Because that's a pretty good guesstimation of how far they're going to move. And then they stand up and they're like, geez. But in reality, if you're fighting a big bad, he's got legendary actions. He can legendarily not trip over his own shoelaces.
Yeah, because that's what every DM wants, is to use legendary resistances to resist a level 1 spell.
I'm gonna pitch another change to this. You ready?
Okay.
It's a level 1 reaction, just like I said, but it has a percentage chance to hit. 50%, 50-50, whether it trips
50%.
him. You're tossing a
I
coin,
don't like
baby.
it. I don't like it. I don't even like the fact that I've made this spell now.
It's a cantrip. It's a cantrip reaction, but it only works 25% of the time.
Oh,
so you're like, I want to try to trip that guy who's running. He's like, all right, roll those percentage die. You're gonna like call a 25% window and see if you land in it.
Gee, yeah, I hate that as a reaction.
Whack.
You got to use your turn to do that. You can't just be like, eh.
We only get 1 reaction per round.
Yeah, but it's not like you're replacing that reaction with something you could actually do, right? You're just using a reaction. It's free, essentially.
Yeah, but the reaction doesn't get used. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
You have
that's
a reaction to
fine.
knock someone over.
Get reactions that trigger on something other than, oh, something somewhere happened. I can use a reaction.
Okay, I'm gonna add another step to this. You have to
Okay.
investigate their running pattern. Then you can cast it as a reaction. I've been studying this man's running pattern for 3 weeks leading up to this fight. I think my trip spell might have a 75% chance.
Jeez.
We're too many mechanics deep. This is no
Yeah.
longer like
It's no longer a good spell.
Well, sorry, I killed that one for you,
Yeah,
Isaac.
thanks.
So what do we want? Do we want a damaging spell, or my only damaging spell, or do you want the other one?
Which one do you want to save for last?
I say we save.
I'm saving my damage spell for last.
Okay, I'm gonna save my damage spell for last then.
Okay.
I feel like, and I might be completely wrong, but I feel like in yonder past of D&D, there were things known as greater spells. It was
I
a
know
low
not
level spell.
greater spell.
So I have created greater mold earth.
Oh, jeez.
3rd level spell.
Oh,
It could be
no.
higher. It could be higher.
Jesus.
It does everything mold earth does, but
Except
a little bit better.
it's
It's
DM proof.
you choose a portion of dirt or stone that you can see within range, and that fits within instead of a 5-foot cube, a 15-foot cube. Could be 10. I'd be willing to go to 10.
I hate the spell already.
You manipulate it in one of the following ways. Target area of loose earth, you can instantaneously excavate it and move it along the ground and deposit it up to 10 feet away instead of 5 feet away. This movement doesn't have enough force to cause damage. Easy peasy. You can cause shapes, colors, or both to appear in the dirt or stone, spelling out words, creating images, or shaping patterns, as in like making a little statue or something, because that's too vague. The changes now originally, I think it lasted a couple of hours. Look up Mold Earth for me real quick. Wait, I've got it right here. Never mind. I don't have to. It lasted 1 hour before. Now they last until they are disturbed. So if someone finds them and starts messing with them, they go away, but they stay there until then, as in like a permanent message in the ground. And the last one, which I added, is the ability to carve, shape, and cut stone in the same like area.
Boo.
Hate this spell.
love-
Boo.
Why do you not
I
like
hate
Earth?
your obsession with Molten
Boo.
Earth because it's like the cantrip itself, like
It's not a
rules
cantrip.
as written.
I think it's a first level.
No,
No,
it's
it's cantrip.
cantrip.
It's cantrip.
The cantrip itself, rules as written, it can break the game, which is why DM's like, well, this is a cantrip. You can't do that.
What can you not
And
do?
now you're like, oh, well, this time it's a 3rd level spell, and
I
it
want
can
you to
break
explain
the
to me.
game.
I want you to explain to me how it breaks the game. I don't think it necessarily breaks the game. I just think it allows for creative usage of spells. Tell me, original Mold Earth, what do you think it breaks?
It's
Read
so strong.
read
Okay.
cantrip Mold Earth and tell me what you think it breaks.
Choose a portion of dirt or stone that you can see within range that fits into a 5-foot cube. You manipulate it in one of the following ways. If you target an area of loose earth, you can instantaneously excavate it, move it along the ground, and deposit it 5 feet away. This movement does not have enough force to cause damage.
Yep.
You cause shapes, colors, or both to appear in the dirt or stone, spelling out words, creating images, or shaping patterns. The changes last for 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the dirt or stone you target is on the ground, you can cause it. You cause it to become difficult terrain. Alternatively, you can cause the ground to become normal terrain if it is already difficult terrain. This change lasts an hour. If you
Okay.
cast the spell multiple times, you can have no more than 2 of its non-instantaneous effects active at any time, and you can dismiss such an effect as an action.
All right. I think that for the most part, this is an RP spell. It has mechanical use as far as like making a trap, but I think that the rest of the uses that I usually pitch are RP specific. You can't cut a hole in a stone wall with mold earth as a cantrip. You can't really do anything other than dig a hole or make a message appear for an hour or change the color of a rock to be bright green for an hour or make the rock have a cool pattern. I think that like maybe you guys have been corrupted by my own description of mold
Yes,
earth.
that is the case. Because reading over that, I'm like, this isn't that bad.
It's
Why
not
do
that
I
bad.
hate this spell?
You shouldn't hate this spell. This spell, the reason I love this spell so much is it allows for creativity in the usage of it. right? Let's say RP scenario, right? You're walking along, there's an old farmer trying to till the field or whatever, and he's really needs some help. You know what you can totally do? You can till an entire field in like an hour with mold earth. That's a good RP scenario. Maybe he gives you a piece of information. Maybe he knows something about the town you're going to. Maybe he's willing to help you by letting you stay at his house since you helped him till his field. Oh, you want to set up a trap for people to walk into? Okay, instead of spending 5 in-game hours to dig a big hole, use mold earth to dig a big hole. It doesn't permanently fix the problem. You can only move the dirt 5 feet. So ostensibly your hole is only 5 foot deep unless you dig it stair step style and you can move it 5 feet up every single time. It's not an overly powerful spell. It is
it's only an
a
action, so you could just take 5 feet, move it 5 feet, take that again, move it another 5 feet. It's
I
like
know, but
over
if your
a
hole's
minute.
10 foot, if your hole's 10 foot deep and you have dirt at the bottom that you're trying to get out the top, you can only move it 5 feet and then it would fall. Then move it 5 feet and then it would fall. The only way to dig a hole deeper than 5 feet with mold earth is to stair step it. Make 5 foot stair steps so that you can go, I move the dirt 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet, 5 feet out of the hole.
Mm-hmm. But that wouldn't be hard to do.
It's not hard to do. But this spell is just a spell about creativity. And I like the idea of being able to cast it bigger and better to allow for more creativity. Realistically, the only part of the spell that I've repitched that is potentially a little broken is the being able to carve and shape stone. I would say the thing I would probably add to that now that I'm reading it again is you can carve, shape stone, but you cannot tunnel with it.
I mean, what level did you have this as? Third?
Third.
So let's see. Stone Shape, I think is the name of
I
it.
think it's a 5th level spell.
Yeah, I'm gonna look. Oh no, it's not spelled as one word. It's a 4th level spell.
Okay.
So it's
But
pretty
that's
close.
more powerful. That's more powerful
Well,
than even what
it's
I
also only
pitched.
5 feet in any dimension, stone shape.
Sorry. So there could be changes, but I like the idea of being able to do more with this spell. And honestly, considering it would use a spell slot, it's not even like that big of a thing for it to be able to move 15-foot cube of dirt immediately. But
Yeah, for a spell slot, I think it's probably okay.
mold earth, Michael gave you a bad rap of mold earth because I was using it a lot at the beginning of his campaign. But he just didn't like it because I'm like, oh, we need to sleep out in the wilderness. I dig a hole and we sleep in the hole. And I like put sticks on top of it so it looks like a, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. I dig one of those igloos, but in the dirt.
No long
Mold
rest for us after a little bit.
mold earth is not overly powerful. It's just
See, what happened
completely
was
interesting.
is we did 3 or 4 sessions and Eric did that, and then he was like, you know what? You need 24 hours to get a long rest. And you can't do it in a hole.
You can't do it in a hole, no matter how cool the hole is. Yeah. So I don't think that mold earth's OP. I think that maybe I have corrupted you into thinking mold earth is OP.
That may be. That may be.
I'm glad I got to talk about mold earth. I love mold
I
earth.
know. I figured you would be. I think that's probably okay. At the cost of a spell slot, that's probably okay.
I like mold earth for the same reason I like shape water. Shape water is an interesting, creative spell that in the right hands can do a lot of things, but to someone else maybe does nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of particularly cantrips breaking like plot devices.
What plot device gets broken by mold earth?
Well, not mold earth, but shape water, like breaking locks and stuff. Or cantrips like that replacing dice rolls. I don't like it.
But that could easily be like the breaking a lock thing. That's one scenario used for that. You could easily just break that as a DM. You do this. Okay, I'm going to do this. I pour the water in. Oh, the lock doesn't hold water. Okay, I pour a ton of water and freeze it while I'm pouring it. Okay, roll a percentage die. Outside of this percentage, it breaks the lock, makes it unfunctional, but doesn't unlock it.
Yeah.
Then you're just
you could do
boned.
that, but it's like you could just try to pick the lock.
But if there's no one in your party that can pick a lock,
Now, yeah,
what's your option?
that's a totally different thing. But and I wouldn't necessarily like give a scenario where there was no solution, right? Especially one that was like
But
there's
suddenly it
something you
opens
could
it up.
destroy.
It opens it up, right? You're running a D&D, you're running a campaign. There's no rogues. Locks can't be picked. But you have a guy who has shape water. He doesn't know this use for it, or he hasn't thought about this use for it. You push a character into an interesting new scenario in which they have to figure out a way to unlock this. And most people are just going to find a key, but every now and then that person's going to be like, I could freeze the lock. And that's a fucking sick moment for that person,
So
right?
here's the thing, the sort of line for me anyway.
Okay.
I love it. I would love it if that was like the first time I had heard that scenario and someone said that, I'd be like, that's awesome. Try it.
Yeah.
But after the first time, and they're like, I'm just gonna do the same thing again. Like, oh, this is boring now. Please just try to pick the lock.
You can't even like, you can't do that. Like you gotta, I think like that's a, can't look at it in that way. If someone discovers something about a spell that isn't necessarily there and they're like, I'm going to do this all the time now, this is sick. You got to know that you might be thinking, oh, this is boring. But to them, they're like, hell yeah, I figured out a cool way to use this spell. Woo! You know, like,
Yeah, but it's like I figured out a cool way to get around some things that we're supposed to be doing with the cantrip. If it takes a spell slot, that's a whole different thing.
okay.
But as a cantrip,
But what about
I
like
hate it.
knock? It's not different than knock. What level's knock?
It's first or second, I think. Let me look.
Look it up. Tell me.
D&D Beyond. It's second level,
Okay.
so that's
So
fine.
it's like
You wanna
a
use knock.
it's like a far less reliable knock. If knock is 100% success rate, this is like a 30% success rate. Because
I
not every
guess.
lock is going to break in a way that
Yeah,
opens
that's
it.
fair. I guess as long as there is a detriment, like you tried to freeze it and now that is busted and you
Yep.
cannot open
And
it.
you cannot open it. That is totally a scenario that could
You're gonna
happen.
have to figure out something else.
Okay. I just thought of a different scenario in which you could use the shape water to like get into a door.
Okay.
You break the hinges with the water, or you you can break the hinges. That's what you do. You pour water in behind the hinges where the plate is on it, because like those old style doors have that plate
No,
with the
hinges are on the
rivets.
other side of the door.
There you go. That solves that problem, right? You have someone, it's a 5-foot cube of shape water. I don't want to get into shape water right now. That'll be on we'll do another
We've already
breaking
done
spells.
that. We've done those before.
We'll do another breaking spells episode or something to talk
Okay.
about this more. But yes, improved mold earth, greater mold earth.
Okay. I would consider it in my campaign.
Are you less booing now that I've described this?
I am slightly less booing because it takes a spell slot.
Yeah.
Because it is a limited thing that you have to resource manage. That makes a huge difference to me.
I'd also say like you could maybe reduce its area, but also reduce its level. But
Maybe.
that's up to you. Yeah.
But I won't boo it. I will just I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
I love mold earth, dude. Mold earth's great. All right, what's your last damaging spell? Is this your last spell?
No. I have 3 more.
Oh no.
So I'll give you 2 and then you can
Yeah,
give
give me
me
2 because I only have 1 left.
So one of them is just a fireball reskin called Concussive Blast. It works exactly like Fireball, except that it's 66 force damage instead of 86 fire damage. And if you fail to save, you're knocked prone and 5 feet away from the center point.
What level is this?
3rd level, exactly same as Fireball, just a reskin.
Pushes them away.
Yep, 5 feet.
I'm having trouble with this one.
And you could do it. You could also do it as ice, and it's same 2d6 less than Fireball, but you are slowed, or it's like icy ground.
2d6 less than Fireball for an ice ball, but it freezes the ground, or slows them with a percentage chance with a DC check to see if it holds them for 1 round or something. Sure. The force one, I want it to push them at least 10 feet to give up that extra damage.
Well, you don't got to take it.
I know, but like
I think it's balanced, because talking about the clumsy spell that I made, I think prone is more powerful than I thought it was.
And moving
So
people is much more powerful than people
yeah,
give it credit
I
for
think
as well.
5 feet is plenty of space to 5 feet in prone is plenty
Oh, it
to
prones them. Okay, I missed that part. If
yeah.
it prones them, sure. It would have to either it prones them or it moves them 10 feet to give up the damage. My thing with like the spell I was thinking of as like a bigger, higher level damage spell, the one I'm gonna get to, is like I all spells that do damage AoE or single target must be compared to Fireball.
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was simply a reskin of Fireball just to have a little variation
To have
spell.
some effects,
Yeah.
extra effects on it. Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. Yeah, the effect has to be good enough to justify the loss of damage. But yeah, like having a free spell that makes the ground underneath it difficult terrain, or that when they get hit by it, they have a DC to see if they're going to be frozen for a round or something.
Yeah.
That'd be good. All right.
All right. So my other non-damage spell is a Bard spell.
Ooh,
It's a first level spell. It's concentration, one action to cast.
okay.
But it's a 5-minute duration, as long as you are performing. The range
Mhm.
is 100 feet. You cast a spell as part of a performance. Any creature in range that can hear you or is looking at you must make a Wisdom saving throw. If there's a wall between you, but the creature can still hear you, the creature has advantage. Uh, on a failure, the creature has disadvantage on any perception check that isn't trained on you, and their passive perception is -5.
What level was this?
First level spell. It's
I
called
think that's good.
All Eyes on Me. It's just a quick. It's the way I thought about using it. It would be like our rogue needs to get back into the back. We need a
Yeah.
distraction. So the bard's like, let me play a song, and then
Yeah.
it gives the major people that are going to be on lookout disadvantage on their perception checks. It gives the rogue a little
Yeah.
extra.
That's good.
incentive.
That's a good RP spell.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't have any changes on that. That's fine. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, give me your.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, wow. That was the first one I came up with when we did this. I just put it down towards the bottom. You want to do your damage spell? Or you want me to do mine?
What level is your damage spell?
Mine. Well, mine is kind of special. It's level 6,
Okay.
but the
Let's just do
upcast is
yours.
important. Okay.
Let's do yours.
I don't really have a name for it, but it's a sorcerer only spell, level 6, one
Okay.
action, range 60 feet. Make
Okay.
a spell attack roll. On a hit, you do 8d6 damage plus half the distance traveled by the projectile. Rounded down, minimum of 2 damage or 5 feet, piercing damage. At
Oh,
higher
so as
levels,
okay, yeah, go ahead.
when you cast a spell using a 9th level slot, the damage is increased to 8d6 plus the distance traveled. Like not half the distance, just full distance. So the idea being, I was looking through sorcerers and I was like, what's cool about sorcerers? What would be a cool
Oh, you
sorcerer
cut
only
out.
spell? So, oh, sorry. I was looking through sorcerers thinking, what would be a cool sorcerer only spell? And I was looking like, well, what do they get? They get meta magic. What's a sort of unused like meta magic? I was like, oh, the range extension. What would be cool to plug into that? I was like, oh, well, maybe something that does more damage the farther it goes.
That'd be cool.
So
Like a spell sniper spell.
yeah. So if you take Spell Sniper and Meta Magic this spell at level 9, at a ninth level spell slot,
Mhm.
it would be doing 8d6 and you would be max distance from the target, right? It's a
Yeah.
lot of setup.
That's a
But
lot of
if you
setup.
got there, it would do 8d6 plus 240 damage.
That's almost too powerful, I'd say.
Well, it's
At
a
that
ninth
distance.
level spell and it's a lot of setup.
Yeah, it is a lot of setup.
I got one 9th level spell, but it's just added to
I don't have any
on a
9th level
different
spells.
spell.
I like the thought of that. I used extend spell a lot when I was a sorcerer.
You did. But I was
I
like,
was
what would
like,
be a cool, like, what would be like, this is what I want to use extend spell on, is this thing right here.
this thing. Yeah. I could see that. That'd be cool. Sorcerer only, so you wouldn't have to worry about like a ton of classes taking this thing.
Yeah.
I also would like to see more variation in really high level spells because there's no point in taking anything other than Wish. I still don't think I'd take that over Wish, but it's a good
Well,
alternative. I
you
mean,
would never take anything over Wish because Wish can be anything else. So it's
Wish can't be a 9th level spell.
Oh, it can't?
Nope.
Really?
Yep.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
It's like 8 or lower, or 7 or
Yeah.
lower.
Yeah.
All right. I might take it over Wish. To do an extra 8d6 plus 240 damage to a big bad.
That's
I
if you
might.
hit. You have to roll to hit, right?
Yeah, you have to roll to hit.
Yeah. That's
So
a ton of damage. You could kill
it's
someone
a
in one
risky
hit.
spell, but yeah, it's you could kill someone and they might not even know that you were there. You're so far away.
What would that be? Extend doubles it. What's its base range?
Base range is 60. You would
Does
take
it have like a gun?
spell
60,
sniper.
120?
No.
Okay.
You take spell sniper to double that,
So
and then
120,
extend spell to double it again to
240.
240.
240
So
feet's not astronomically far away.
it's not, but it's pretty far away.
It's pretty far.
Like
Yeah,
for
that's a long way.
any given combat situation, like a regular board isn't your
Oh yeah.
most boards aren't even gonna have that amount
The
of distance.
I would say the drawback is if you miss, you have to move 240 feet in to start attacking people.
Yeah, and it would make a big like flash and sound too, so it wouldn't be like a sneaky thing
It should
until
move like it should be like a bullet where it flies by and it gains momentum as you
yeah, that's
cast
the
it.
idea.
And then
That's
the
that's the
boom,
idea.
the crack comes right after it lands.
Uh,
That'd be sick. I like that spell.
so yeah, if you cast it at a 6th level slot, it would be at with a whole setup. It would be 8d6 plus 120.
Well, there would
At
be no
ninth level, it'd be
you don't
8d6.
get the 8d6, I thought, at the 6th level.
No, you do 8d6, which isn't a lot, like especially compared to the plus, right? That's just to add some
8d6
RNG
is
to it.
same as a fireball,
Yeah.
but single target.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind that. That's fine. I'm sure that there is some way that can be broken that I can't think of at the top
I
of my
mean,
head.
it's pretty broken as is. I feel like
Pretty broken as is, yeah.
there's probably some magic item that can extend spells to, and you add that on there, and it's like, oh, you just one shot everything,
One shot everything. Yeah, we don't even have to get close. I'm just like,
and then you
I
roll a
s-
natural one, and you're like, I used my 9th level spells.
but if you don't, you're like, I see him from a mile away. Whoop-ew!
I gotta get
And
my
he's
looking
dead.
glass out.
I gotta get my spy glass, my 1,000 gold spy glass out to look down and see this guy so I can shoot him. I like that. That's fine. All right. You want to hear my big bad spell?
Yep. Let me tear it down for you.
Yeah,
I'm
tear it
ready.
down for me. I didn't have a name, so I it's basically Call Lightning, but a variation. I called it Greater Call Lightning just for the sake of it.
Okay.
So it works much like Call Lightning, but instead of Call Lightning is like a storm kind of appears and it's a concentration spell, and every turn you can be like, that guy takes a couple d10, that guy takes a couple d10.
Okay.
So
That's
instead of
Call
that,
Lightning.
that's Call Lightning. This is a 6th level spell. Storm cloud appears in the sky in shape of cylinder, 20 feet tall, 80-foot radius. So bigger storm cloud. That's just fluff. That doesn't even really matter.
Okay.
Centered on point you can see within range directly above you. Spell fails if you can't see a point in the air where the storm cloud could appear, as in you're in a room or a dungeon or something. When you cast the spell, you choose a point you can see under the cloud. A bolt of lightning flashes down from the cloud to that point, and electricity radiates out in a circle. Each creature within a 15-foot point of that must make a dex saving throw. And if they fail, a creature takes 8d10 lightning damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. That makes it about 5 to 6 points better on average than a 6th level fireball. It can be upcast for additional d10s every level above. And if you are casting it in stormy conditions, you'll get an extra d10, or you could also get an extra d10 if you are a high enough level to cast control weather and you cast it while control weather is active. Control weather being a 8th or 9th level spell, I believe.
I believe it's 8.
8th.
You said what level is this one?
This is 6th. Only
Okay.
castable by druids, Tempest Domain clerics, Circle of the Land, and Oath of the Open Sea. At this point, there's a Storm Sorcerer as well that I think could probably do it. Anything that control weather.
And is this does this just happen once? Like
It's just a one time. Yeah. It's
Okay.
not repeating. It is like a lightning fireball, basically, like a
Okay.
smaller radius by 5 feet, but does more damage on average and has a much higher potential damage. And the flavor of being able to cast it, that's an irregular call lightning as well. If you're outdoors in stormy conditions or the spell control weather is active when you cast a spell, the spell's damage increases by 1d10. So if it's storming while the fight is going, you get an extra d10 of damage. Or if you can create that storm before you cast this one, you get an extra d10 of damage, making it 9d10.
That seems fine. I mean, I don't know that it would ever be worth it to try to cast control weather first. It would just have to be, oh, well, good thing I had control weather up already. I'll cast this.
No, it's
Uh,
just a spell that you take and it's cool and it's useful. And then later, if you're wanting control weather, because typically that's a spell you want before you ever make the class, you take that later and you know that, oh dang, if I do this, I can get a little more damage out of this.
yeah, but it's like that's a lot. That's a big commitment of both spell slots and time because it's a 10-minute cast time.
Well,
It's concentration.
you don't
It's
have to
8th
use
level.
control weather.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's cool, but I don't know that it would have to be one of those things that's like, oh, well, good thing I've already got it up.
It's purely a flavor text thing,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. The thing, if it's already storming, I think that's cool. That
Yeah.
gives a reason for the DM to have weather conditions in the
Mhm.
game. That's in regular call lightning. I just kept that because I thought it was a cool feature. It could also be that it can double up if it's storming. And well, no, it couldn't double up. But if it's storming or someone has cast control weather, or even if you don't know that someone's cast control weather and it's storming, it would do an extra d10 of damage.
I might even go so far as to, if you've got control weather up, double the dice.
Yeah, you could do that. But then it would be real powerful.
It would, but it's also, again, 10-minute cast time for control weather, 8th level slot used, and concentration. So that's a big setup. I like the flavor a lot, and I think that yeah, I think the only change I might make would be to buff it, actually.
Yeah. I didn't want to go overboard with the damage because I knew I'd get freaking roasted if I was like, it does 10d10 damage. But it
I
could
mean, I
do a
think that's
little more.
how much does it do?
It
Flat?
does, it does 8d10, which is a lot. That comes out to, I'll tell you
Yeah,
what the average is.
what's the average?
I didn't write it down, but I will tell you. The average is 44. This is 6th level, so uh, it ends up being, so a fireball would be 38.5 at that level average.
What would
If
a
you cast it at
fireball
6th,
be at, say 9th level?
9th level?
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay.
3,
Yeah. Hold on.
6, 7, 8, 9 be
Times.
6. It's 12d6 or 8d6
Yeah.
plus 6 is 14d6.
14d6, yeah. That's what I was. 49 damage is what a fireball would do at that level.
So what would
And this on
16d10
average,
be?
16d10
Yeah.
would be 88 average. So it could go
Okay, so
much
maybe not
higher.
double it, but
Maybe not double. That would be a
but it would
ton.
I would want it to be a lot more than just an extra d10 to sack an 8th level and a 6th level spell slot for it.
I didn't think about it as like I'm sacking control weather just to do this. I thought of it
Mhm.
more like if I'm the kind of person who wants to cast control weather, this is just it's just a nice flavor text to have on top of its other effects.
Yeah, but I just like I'm thinking about it, and that little flavor line made me go, man, that would be super cool to have, even if like we're sailing today and I want to help move the boat, right?
Yeah.
So I cast control weather, and then their fight breaks out. And you're like, well, I am down an 8th level spell slot for this fight, and I'm concentrating on something that I would like to keep concentration on. What can I get out of this if I don't want to? And I would say you would add like maybe 3 to 5d10 more if you had
Yeah.
control weather up.
Because I've always wanted to do a storm or weather control style build, but there just isn't a lot of lightning or weather related spells.
Okay, I'll save that for the for the cleric subclass breakdown. There was something made me real mad when I was looking through there.
Oh, really? I haven't.
Yeah.
I was like reading through the cleric subclasses, and then when we skipped that week, I was like, we're gonna do spells next. So I just stopped reading them. So I looked into the Tempest domain cleric a little bit when I was making my current
That's the one that
character.
made me mad.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
I'll have
because
to
one of the I'll just tell you real quick. One of the things that you can do is roll. You can use your divine thingy to max damage instead of roll it. Right? It's like that's
yeah.
amazing. I want to use that with like chain lightning or lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
You're like you can't cast lightning bolt. Why would you have a Tempest domain cleric
Yeah.
that can't cast lightning bolts?
Yeah, that's like annoying. It's like almost a cool subclass.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool. I'm gonna do all the lightning and thunder damage. Well, let me find the best spell. Oh, I can't use the best spell. Okay, I guess I don't want to be the subclass.
I remember being like, to make a storm build work in rules as written, it's almost like a druid is what would have to do it.
Yeah,
But it's
I was
still one
so
of those things where
disappointed when I was looking through it and found that.
all the storm based stuff isn't until, level 6th and 7th, 8th level spells.
Yeah,
I would like to build more storm stuff in, or build a storm subclass that works. That's another one of them subclasses things, dude. Give me a subclass. Give me a subclass. D&D. I know that Wizards of the Coast, you listen to this. I want more unique spells for each class. I want
now you've done it. You can
I
do
want
it
division.
yourself.
I want
That's the
division.
great thing about D&D is you can do
I
it
know.
yourself.
No, the hard part of that is having a DM who wants you to do that,
Yeah,
or is going
but I
to
feel
allow
like
you to do
you
that.
can reskin a lot of things and be fine balance wise.
Yeah, you could. But reskinning doesn't always cut it all the way. You want something unique. You want something good. My
You can
character's been adventuring for a lifetime.
depending on how much your players know about D&D, you could reskin it yourself and just don't tell them. And they'll
Yeah.
be like, "This is great."
This is so good, dude. I'm the most powerful ever.
I can't believe you came up with this.
8d6 lightning damage? That's amazing.
That's so cool. Anyways, that was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. That could definitely be done again. But I think that the next custom creation episode will be subclasses.
Speaking of subclasses, are we doing clerics next time?
Yeah, how about we do clerics next time and we push subclasses back so we have 2 weeks to prepare.
All right.
Oh man, I'm probably only gonna be able to do one subclass. Those are tough.
You want to give it 3 weeks?
Do what?
You want to give it 3 weeks?
Maybe
Um,
I'll look into it. I've already made a couple subclasses, but I'm not gonna share those on here because they may come up in the campaign at some point.
Tell you what, we won't decide on a time this time, but by next week we need to have a time frame, and I want to say it on the podcast so that I'm committed. Because if I don't say it on the podcast, I ain't gonna work on it. I know myself too well. I created 2 of these spells today
Jeez.
because
Oh,
I
I
knew
got
I'd be
some
sitting
stuff
around.
I gotta do. Oh, I better do it.
That's my life, dude.
Jeez.
Dude,
As soon as we got off 2 weeks ago, I was like thinking about spells, and I had 2 of them ready to go.
no. That's a different thing. That's a different thing. I had plenty of ideas for spell in my head.
I had them written down. I was, I
Oh,
was
no, I
writing
didn't
them
write them down.
down.
I don't write them
Writing
down.
them down, taking them through my own brain balance test.
My brain balance test is this. Ooh, that sounds like a cool looking spell. I either tell Joe about it, or it stays in my head. And then if it wasn't cool enough, it just goes away, and I know it. That's the filter, right? If it wasn't cool enough to stay in my head, it wasn't even worth my fucking time.
Jeez.
If I write it down, I just have a bunch of shit ideas, and then I have to filter through that. I just pick the cream of the crop right off the top.
Sometimes it's valuable. It's like
Sometimes note taking is
liminal
valuable.
liminal journal stuff, liminal dreaming journals.
Oh,
I can't do it because I get too
sorry.
tired. But
Not liminal. It's not liminal. It's
not lucid.
not lucid.
Yeah, there's a thing that Holly just told me about it. It's like liminal dreaming.
We
Is
are
like
really getting off right here.
right before you fall asleep. It happens to me all the time. Right before I fall asleep, I come up with some what I think are really cool ideas.
Oh, I do
But
that
I'm
all
like,
the time.
I'm too tired, and I fall asleep. And the next one, like, that was something really cool, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay, yeah, that happens to me all the time. Maybe I should keep one of them journals.
Yeah, if you can force yourself to wake up and write it down.
Listen, my ideas happen in 3 places: when I'm going to sleep, in the shower, driving the car. Those are the 3 idea zones. Everywhere else, I'm not thinking about anything. Well, I'm thinking about a lot of stuff, just not things I need to be thinking about.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, we got really off script there at the end.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.